Okay, right. Welcome back to another episode on the channel of normal Mr.Nice Guy series. Right, so this is going to be episode 33, right? Which is, I think from the book, it's called re-examining your relationship with your father. I think, which I'm just going to say relationship with father. Right. I have some other terms that I'll probably put in here that I have terms or concepts that I've come up with for this that I find resonates with me. So this is kind of powerful, this one. This is an insanely powerful chapter or activity that from the book. I have written this, I think, 4 times. It's just so much to put in. So kind of condensed it down to kind of be quick again. So I haven't done everything. I haven't covered everything in this video about what I wanted to talk about because it's just too much stuff. I did kind of hit on this father stuff on the last video. I think the last one was role models. Yes. So I covered a bit of it on role models, but we'll go through it here. So relationship with father. So let's start. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the concept that I call it, right, or the concept I came up with, which is the unseen fathers, right? So we'll get into that. The childhood lens, again, the unseen fathers, both guys, nice guys, fathers. The kind of relationship doesn't matter. So we'll get into that. So let's look at the first part, right? So most nice guys look at their fathers with a childhood lens still on, right? With the child's eyes, kind of, essentially. They need to, well, nice guys, myself included, need to put on an adult lens, right? An adult outlook on life, and now take a look at their fathers with those adult lenses, right? So, which again, I call this the unseen fathers, which essentially is what the nice guys need to look at. So, it's acknowledging the deeper, more human side of their fathers that the nice guy is blind to. So, you're acknowledging that deeper, the blind side, basically. That's why it's the unseen fathers, right? It's the parts of your father that you've not seen or you've blinded yourself to because of the nice guy's side or syndrome. So if you take a look at most nice guys, generally speaking, obviously not every nice guy, but generally speaking, their fathers were passive or unavailable, absent. Or another common thing in today's world is nice guys were told their fathers are the villains in a sense. Either from the mother or from other women in their lives. They're like, don't be like your father, or you see, don't do that kind of thing. Kind of like using the father or making the father into a villain about certain things. And then through childhood you carry this because most nice guys seek the approval of women. So it's like, oh, okay, so don't do this, right? Okay. So nice guys generally don't have a good or close relationship with their fathers, generally, again, and try to be the opposite. Again, so they try to be opposite. So, for example, the mother says, okay, this trait is bad. The nice guy will try to be opposite of that trait. Or it's like, oh, I'll just be opposite to my father, right? So that's most nice guys' fathers. Then the kind of relationship doesn't matter. Okay, so even if you are here as a nice guy, but even if you had, like I had, even if you had a great relationship with your father, it will still be a good idea to take a look at them through the lens of an adult, or from the POV, the point of view of another person who is figuring stuff out and is human too. Right? Um, yeah, he's human too. Got his flaws and whatnot. He did the best he could with what he had and what he knew, essentially. So you need to take a look at your father that way. All right. Let's go to the next one. So, reclaiming your masculinity. This is part of the reclaiming your masculinity uh, chapter. So, one of the things you need to do, or to reclaim your masculinity, is to look at the relationship, right? Why? Okay, so few things here. Nice guys realize some hard, or for some nice guys it's hard, or just for some it's just the truth about themselves and their fathers. They discover. Oh, okay, we'll go into those later, but you can see on here. So once nice guys take a look at their unseen fathers, right, which we covered in the last slide, they realize some hard or just truths, as I said, about themselves and their fathers. So most nice guys, despite trying to be the complete opposite to their fathers, find out that they have a lot more in common than they thought. They also discover that their fathers are generally not bad. And what they've done is they've distorted their view, or they have a distorted view of their fathers. So how does this help nice guys reclaim their masculinity? How does looking at the relationship with your father help you reclaim your masculinity, right? So if nice guys, well, if nice guys have to, but if nice guys want to view themselves accurately, or accept themselves for who they are, they need to shift. They need to shift the way they look at their fathers, and because they are kind of against their fathers in a sense of being opposite, they're against their male heritage, right? So I would say in spite, in spite of their fathers, they try and opt out of their masculinity in a sense, right? So they need to shift the way they look at their fathers and accept their male heritage that they share with their father, right? So not and to start this, nice guys can start with expressing their feelings to their fathers. Unfortunately, if your father is no longer with you, or that's not an option, you can still go through this exercise and role play that they are there and that you're expressing your feelings, even if it's rage and anger. Expressing it is going to help you so much more and have this difficult conversation. Yeah. So you need to express the feelings towards your father, whether he's there or not. So then, okay. So now I'm going to go into my relationship with my father, right? Because the whole point of this is just you going along with this journey with me in these exercises and learning of the nice guy. So my relationship with my father. So I've had a great relationship with my father. Or I do have, should I say. I've had and I have a great relationship with my father. He was absent when I was really young due to work. He used to work basically 24/7 to provide for us, myself and my sisters, which is, I understand now. We've had our fights, sort of verbal, boys will be boys kind of thing. We've had our fights, we've had our differences throughout my life. We've not always seen eye to eye, but I've never hated or thought of him as an actual villain, anything like that. We actually have so much in common, and I'm doing this chapter although the Mr.Nice guy, it's actually opened up a lot more things for me. How would I say it? A lot more similarities. Let's put it that way. So it's opened up a lot more similarities, or I've discovered a lot more similarities to myself and my father. So, which is a bit unreal, right? We have so much in common, it's unreal. Um, I would say I'm basically a copy, just a copy of my father, right? Obviously, some things vary, but there's just so much in common, or so much that will take off there. I'm basically a copy of my father. So this would also explain why it's very difficult for us to work together. Um, it always ends up with us arguing or butting heads. Uh, and then at the end of the day, we find out that, oh, okay, so we both are just saying the same thing, just slightly different way. But anyway, that's a different thing. But yeah. So here's some of my father's traits, right? So my father is very caring. He's humorous. He loves to make jokes and make people laugh. He's honest and someone you can depend on, right? He is direct and will tell you if he doesn't agree on something. He is also agreeable sometimes, depending on the topic or the thing. He doesn't like too much confrontation. Like he will confront you on something he doesn't agree with, but if it doesn't impact him or anything, he leaves it. It's like, yeah, you believe what you want to believe, you do what you want to do. Doesn't bother me. Up to you, right? So you can be agreeable in a sense, and he doesn't fight or need to prove himself to be the leader, in a sense, right? Um, my father's work ethic is a bit insane. I still remember it till this day. Uh, and I'm trying to work on the same trait here, trying to adopt his work ethic more. I was very lazy in my younger years. So he's also very resilient. As I said, like life keeps knocking him down, he keeps on getting back up and just knocking it out, doing the things. My father, when it's time to work, it's time to work. Um, Stuff has to get done, it gets done. He doesn't have time to, excuse me, waste or play around, right? He gets the thing done. I distinctly remember always having to get up and run to do something he asked me to do. Um, you'd normally like, what, cut the grass, right? Or mow the lawn, cut the grass. If he asked me to do that and I didn't do it fast enough, he would go do it himself. He hasn't got time to waste waiting for me to do it or something like that. Or if I pulled a face, um, he would just go do it himself. He'd stop asking me, he'd just go do it himself. His thought process there was, if you're not going to do it willingly, then don't do it. Then I will do it myself. Um, so that was always something I remember distinctly because you would feel so crap afterwards that you didn't do it. That he asked you something and you didn't do it. Because normally he doesn't always ask you. He does it most of the stuff himself. So when he does ask you, you better run and do it. um, there are a lot more characteristics here to list. As I said, there's like a massive. I've made a massive list. I went really deep into this one, but it's just too long for this video. Another trait that I will add is he is a bit hot-headed, right? So when he's in the workshop or busy working at something, we are very similar. We can get very hot-headed at ourselves, especially at ourselves. If something doesn't work, it gets a bit heated in there. There's a lot of words flying. Uh, Sometimes tools too. But yeah, so I would say that I am almost an exact copy, right, of my father. The older I get, and the more I look at him with adult eyes and father's eyes, as I have a son, the more They're more the outlooks and the way he does things is similar. I see more of him in myself, right? Um, I look a lot like him. I mean, we've got beards, we've got, yeah. So I am an exact copy of my father. Yeah. In the regards of our outlooks, right? So the jokes we make is very similar. The way we work is very similar. Um, yeah, and the fact that we both are humans, looking at this, like we've all got our flaws, hot-headedness. There's a lot of other flaws that we are. I said I have the short fuse, which I'm working on. So there's a lot of traits here that are negative and positive that we have. Um, so there is. So what you got to do is there is no villains, right? You got to look at your father with adult lens as your father is human just like you, and he's been navigating life with his mental map or his mental model and the limited information that he had from his life and that he learned, right? The same as you. You are same as me. I am a wounded human. I've got my problems. I've got things I need to deal with. I've got limited information that I have in my life that I'm using as a mental model. I'm updating that now, and it just continuously update. But they are also wounded humans. Embrace after that adult eyes, right? Looking at him with adult eyes, seeing the unseen father, right? Or the unseen fathers. Embrace your male heritage, your masculinity, your male heritage that you share with your father. Look at it, it's like, oh, okay, I share this with my father. I come from my father. I have the masculinity, right? So you need to adopt it. You need to reclaim your masculinity, and this is going to help you so much, especially if you are trying to be opposite to your father. Another caveat or another nice thing I just thought of. Sorry, this is also again a long one, but a nice thing I thought of from the chapter is the guys that are basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but the nice guys that try to be complete opposite to their fathers, need to realize that then your father that you're so against is still basically controlling your life because you're trying to be opposite in spite of him instead of just being yourself. So he still controls your life. So whether you're against him or whatnot, he still controls your life. Just a caveat, just thought, food for thought. So you need to embrace it, right, and accept it, and that's going to help. That shift is going to help you reclaim that masculinity, right? So an exercise that you can do, right, is list out your father's characteristics, which is what I've done, right? As I said, I did a lot more than what I've said in this video, but you list out your father's characteristics. Then on the opposite side, of those characteristics, you write the opposites, right? So if you've got how would you say, if you've got strong, you've got weak, right? You write the opposite. Then take a look at it and see where do you stand. You can kind of make it into a graph as well, or like where you can place if you're closer to the weak then, or closer to the strong, or in the traits, and just take a look at where you sit on this list, and you will be surprised at actually how close you really are if you do this truthfully. Now you got to do it truthfully. You could bullshit me, but you can't bullshit yourself. So do it truthfully. If you are lying, but do it truthfully and see how close you are to your father generally, and you'll be amazed at what you discover. So I was, and I said this works for someone that has a good relationship with their father and someone that doesn't. So what you want to basically do is you want to take your father out of the gutter, right, or take him off a pedestal and just look at him as a human being. There's so much value in that. That's it for this one. Again, it's a bit long. I gotta keep getting better at this. making it shorter. Thanks for joining. I hope this was a bit more insightful, um, a bit more giving you ideas to do things. And thanks for joining. And I'll see you in the next one. Comment down below. How is the relationship with your father? I was curious. All right. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Have a good one.